The All Blacks are looking at creating their own bomb squad. You heard that right, folks. The very same people who complained about what we were doing now want to do what we do. And today, you are going to get a front row seat as I reveal what New Zealand coach Scott Robertson said and why I don't think it will work either. Now, it is understandable that the All Blacks are scrambling for answers. They haven't won the Rugby World Cup since 2015. They no longer hold the Rugby Championship or the Freedom Cup. And they've been beaten in each of their last 4 meetings against our world champion Springboks. That includes a 35-7 annihilation in the Qatar Airways Cup match. A Rugby World Cup final where they missed 2 kicks that could have given them the lead and yet continue to blame other factors for their losing that match. And there were the 2 come-from-behind wins for the Springboks in South Africa last year.
On that throw, one backwards call from Matt Carley. But then Marks with ball in hand. Player on the floor there. Gets away.
Now, personally, I've got nothing against Scott Robertson. Razor is a good coach with an excellent record in domestic rugby in New Zealand. And I might add that I delight in calling him Razor as a term of affection. I really do like him and I rate him as a coach. The problem that he has is that he is now coaching our number 1 enemy. So we're not going to like him for a few years. Having said that, he was very successful with the Crusaders in Super Rugby. Is he finding international rugby to be a step up? Probably. Is it a difficult adjustment? I don't really think it's that difficult. I think my grandmother could coach the All Blacks and they'd still probably win at least 60% of their matches. So to that end, it's not like the Kiwis are struggling. They're just not dominating. Their all-conquering generation have mostly now retired, and the new crop are finding that the other teams are able to match them, certainly the top teams. It also helps that the breakdown is being refereed properly when New Zealand are playing. Let's look at what Razor said in an interview just a few days ago. I think you look at it statistically, how powerful it is. 6-2s, 7-1s have been successful as well. It depends on your squad and your team. You look at the balance of those 6-2s having 2 loose forwards and a lock, plus explosive front rowers that come on and change the game. How and when do you put them on? If you ask me, I think there's a clear acknowledgement from Robertson that he can see it works. He's also revealing that he's not entirely sure how to make it work himself. Now look, that will also come with experience. England, Ireland, France and Italy have all been going with 6-2 splits in the recent Six Nations. The French even went 7-1 on a couple of occasions.
And look who's on his shoulder, Danny Apeno. It's a record-breaking, monumental moment.
The trend started with Dr. Rassie Erasmus at the 2019 Rugby World Cup. And then in 2023, in the Qatar Airways Cup match, which the Springboks won 35-7 against the All Blacks, as well as in the pool match against Ireland and the Rugby World Cup final, which the Springboks won 12-11 against the All Blacks, Jacques Nienaber went 7-1. The difference is, of course, we know exactly what we're trying to achieve with the bomb squad. The Kiwis are skillful enough to figure it out, I have no doubt, or at least work out what will work for them. But it will take some getting used to. Remember, it's so ingrained in them to play with flair and style that it is a foreign concept to sacrifice a twinkle-toed backline player for a menacing forward. Robertson hinted at that in his interview. You look at all of those facets that have been successful in the past, and then you also go to the risk factors as well. and particularly in the backs, someone's potentially going to be playing out of position for a long time. So there is a risk factor to it. But also, was it mitigated by turning the game around with 30 minutes to go? Can you put a whole new forward pack on? Who you're playing, where you're playing, they're all critical questions, and the depth of your squad, your experience of the players that are coming on. Again, I get the sense Razor would prefer to avoid going 6-2 or 7-1. But I also get the sense he realizes it's inevitable, that at some point he is going to have to do it. I wonder what our old friend Matt Williams will have to say about this. Will he be as vocal in his criticism of the All Blacks as he is of us? And what will Stephen Jones think? Whatever. Well, we'll get a chance to see how bold or brave Robertson is quite soon. New Zealand hosts France in a 3-test series in July, and he will name his squad next month. Then we'll see in his matchday squads if he will indeed emulate Dr. Erasmus or play it safe and stick to the New Zealand way of playing rugby. I actually think it's the perfect time to experiment, because the French aren't going to send their best team to the land of the long white cloud, disappointingly. I understand the reasons why, but I still think it's a shame. So the All Blacks are going to walk the series 3-0, and we're not really going to learn much about either side, outside of French squad depth perhaps. Therefore, it's the perfect time and place for Razor to try a 6-2, or even a 7-1. But will he? What do you think? I personally think imitation is the ultimate form of flattery, and it is incredibly satisfying to see so many international coaches now copying the Springboks methods. Let me know in the comment section down below, and while you're down there, why not help me out with a super thanks? I'd love to do this full time and make even more videos for you. I'd also love to go to Australia in 2027 and cover the Rugby World Cup for you from down under on a daily basis. But in order to make that happen, I'll need some support. Super thanks is the heart button with a $sign inside of it. You'll be able to make a highlighted comment, and I promise to reply to it as well as hit the love button on your comment. You'll also have the opportunity to make a donation to my channel of your choice. It can be 10 Rand or 10,000 Rand. And if you used to work for Eskom and got a lacquer payout, then I'm expecting you to do the right thing. If you're not yet ready to support me in that manner, you can also just spear tackle the like button, and you can also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. I mentioned earlier how we used the 7-1 tactic against the All Blacks in the 2023 Rugby World Cup final to great success. Why not go relive the 2023 Rugby World Cup final press conference and hear everything Jacques Nienaber and Siya Kolisi had to say about our glorious win that night? That video is on your screen over here, or go check out this video where I fondly review our brilliant performances at the 2019 Rugby World Cup final in Japan. And I'll see you next time.